Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Outlier YouTube channel and our program, Get to Know. I'm your host, DP Lyle, and I'm here with my partner in crime, Kathleen Antrim.
Still looking for some crime. We need to get in some trouble. We've been too good lately. So we are very excited to have a great guest with us today. He's an award-winning and best-selling author. His name is Harry Hunsicker. He's written over 12 books. Is it Harry or is it 13 now?
Nine.
Nine. Well,
thank you for that.
There you go. You know what? I know there's more coming. So there you go.
You bet.
He's got 3 different series, and we are just glad to have him. Welcome, Harry.
Glad to be here. Thank you all for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Well, we are excited to have you. And to start this off, I have a theory about writers. So I'm going to ask you a question to see if it plays into my theory.
Okay.
I want to talk to you about your childhood. And
Really?
I would like to know.
Let's just dive right on in that. Okay.
Well, I want to know if you feel your childhood played into you becoming a writer. Did you have imaginary friends or anything like that you feel that kind of steered you in that direction?
Without a doubt. I still have the same imaginary friends. I mean, we go back a ways. So I was an only child, and books were my friend. I was a reader. My parents were big readers, so I kind of watched them read, and I thought, well, that's what you do. You emulate your parents. And so I was a reader, and I didn't have siblings. So I just, and this was before smartphones, so I just immersed myself in books, in novels. I read, and it informed who I became. It led me to want to be a writer. But I read wildly. I read everything I could. I started with the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew and all that stuff. But I read anything and everything. I read wildly inappropriate stuff. When I was like 12 or 13, I read Sidney Sheldon's The Other Side of Midnight.
Oh, I remember that book.
If you've ever read that, don't let a 13-year-old boy read that. I mean, there's that is like some serious erotica, back 1970s style.
And it was really cutting edge back then.
It was cutting edge. I think it'd be cutting edge right now. I've read this thing. Can you do this? What? It was wild. But I mean, that's just one of many books that was stuck with me, obviously. But I read a ton of stuff. So yes, my childhood had a big part of making me who I am.
Wow. So were you outgoing as a kid at school? Did you play athletics? Were you more introverted?
Let's say I was not outgoing, and I was not athletic. I had my nose in a book. I don't think I'm totally an introvert. I think I'm a moderate kind of splitting the difference between introvert and extrovert. But I was not athletic, and books and the reading life was what I was about.
So how about high school? Girlfriends, not really into girls yet? What was the
Yeah, kind of into girls. Yeah. I went to a small high school.
You were reading Sidney Sheldon, so maybe.
Yeah, I want to get a girlfriend. No, I mean, yeah, I just had a normal high school experience.
When did you decide that writing was going to be your career? Well, let's back up. What were you doing professionally before you started writing?
So I worked for 30 some odd years as a commercial real estate appraiser. And I've been fortunate enough now to be able to write full time. To kind of transition into that. I knew early on from day one, or not day one, but really early on, that I wanted to be a writer. And it took forever to get to that place where it took years. I was in my late 30s before I started pursuing it. But I knew, as a not a child, but a young preteen, that I wanted to be a writer. I tried to write something when I was, I guess, 10 or 11 years old. Someone gave me a typewriter for Christmas, and this was a long time ago. I'm not gonna say how old I am. This is a long time ago, and it was a clickety clack kind, where the keys would get stuck together if you hit too hard. And so I sat down. I thought, well, I'm going to write a screenplay. Now I didn't know what a screenplay was at the time, but I thought, I'm going to write a screenplay. So I got I remember this, sheets of manila paper, not typing paper, but manila paper, and stuck it in the typewriter. And I started writing my screenplay. I don't. It is sadly it has not survived the years, but I do remember a little bit about the plot. It was Christmas time, so the story was about Mary and Joseph and the birth of baby Jesus. Only they didn't go to Bethlehem. I live in Dallas, so in Dallas they came. Mary and Joseph came to give birth to Jesus. They came to Dallas for that. So
Why
that,
wouldn't they?
why wouldn't they, right? And so that was the plot. But the twist was, after baby Jesus was born, they all went shopping at Neiman's.
Of course they did.
Right. It works on a lot of different levels. So that was my first attempt at writing, and I remember that pretty clearly. I don't really remember what else happened, but that was it for 25 years, I guess, something like that. So I kind of danced around wanting to be a writer for a long time, and then
So
finally
what
got
was
serious
the
about it.
Well,
impetus that
Neiman's does
really got
sell
you
swaddling
going?
clothes, so there is that.
Yeah,
They just happen to be very expensive. Exactly.
swaddling clothes. Yeah.
So when you decided you wanted to pursue this insanity that we all are involved in, what steps did you take to start preparing yourself? Did you just start writing and say, "What the hell, I can do this," or did you take classes, read books, do all the stuff that?
So I'd been reading how to write books forever. I mean, I read a ton of them. I've got a shelf over there that's still full of a bunch of them. I've read every one of them. But gosh, around the turn of the millennium, I thought, there's only so many years left. So I decided to get serious about it. And I took some classes at the local university here in the continuing education department. They had a great creative writing department. And that really got me started on the path.
And that's unusual because usually at the university level, you can't really find create like actual how do you write a book classes.
This was a SMU, Southern Methodist University at the time. They had a great creative writing core program in the continuing education division.
That's fantastic.
It was wonderful. Met a lot of people I still am friends with and in a critique group with, and got me started.
I had pretty much the same experience. I decided I was practicing medicine, and I said, I'll tell these stories when I retire. And I realized I'm not going to retire, so I kind of told myself, if not now, when. So I went to UC Irvine, and they had a great creative writing program in the extension program. And this program was run by people like, I think Saul Stein ran it at one time, then Thomas Keneally of Schindler's List fame and all that. They ran the program. I think Jeff Parker went through there, several people. So anyway, I took a couple of classes, and I thought, well, this is fun, and then joined a critique group and started doing that. But so when you got around to writing your first book, how'd that go?
It didn't go very well. This is a very interesting thing, and I assume that there's going to be a lot of writers who watch this. So this is a lesson that I learned. I tried to write the great American novel, and it was really, really hard. I wrote about a guy named Bob, and he was the most boring individual that ever lived. He would eat a sandwich and ruminate on what that meant to his life. Then he might drive across town and have a cup of coffee and think about that, think about his life some more. He pondered a lot. There's nothing happening in his life. And after about 6 months, I'd written 100 pages, and it was a hard 100 pages. I knew writing's hard. I knew it's not easy, or everybody be doing it, but I knew it wasn't supposed to be this hard. But Bob was so boring, it was so hard. I did the only thing I could. I killed Bob, and I buried him in a desk drawer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I sat down and I looked at my bookshelves, and I realized that I didn't have a lot of books on the shelves that could be called great American novels. I didn't have a lot of literary fiction. What I did have was a lot of mysteries and thrillers and detective novels and spy thrillers and things like that. And so this little light bulb went off in my head, and I went, whoa, maybe I'm not supposed to write the great American novel. Maybe I'm supposed to write a mystery or a thriller or something like that. And so that kind of got me on the right path to where I needed to be. It's still strange. I still marvel over it. Like, how in the world did you not pick up on the fact that you're not supposed, that's what kind of genre you're supposed to be in. I mean, I don't understand how I could do that, but I did.
So I have a question about all those books you read on writing. Do you have a favorite that you think you learned the most from that you would like to recommend?
So I think kind of the gold standard for that would be Stephen King's On Writing.
I love that book. Yeah.
That's a great book. A close second, if not equal, would be David Morrell's book, Lessons from a Lifetime of Writing. That is a phenomenal book. He's a great teacher too, and so he put all his teaching skills into the book. So I like those two especially.
Cool.
Yeah,
I like them both too. Yes, they are kind of Bibles of all that.
Yeah.
So didn't you do something movie wise recently, not too long ago?
So I started writing screenplays between novels as kind of a way to decompress. Writing a novel is like running a marathon. So you kind of want to, the way I look at it is kind of want to have a cool down period. So I started writing screenplays because it stretches a different muscle for me creatively, and it's not as involved. And so I've written a number of full length ones, but I wrote a short one that got picked up and produced, and it came out 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I can't even remember. I can't believe it. And went on the festival circuit and got nominated for some awards, and it won Best Screenwriter at a festival in Idaho of all things. So I had a good time with that.
What was the title and what was it about?
Yeah.
Doug's done his homework. The title is I'll give you the pitch on it. It's about a hitman with irritable bowel syndrome.
Yes.
Oh my.
And the title is Shit Squad. And the S is in parentheses, so it goes hit squad. Yeah. What is that?
When I first saw it, I laughed out loud.
Oh my God, that's funny.
And it's so you. So, as I'm sure Allison would attest to.
Oh yeah, she just shakes her head. She goes, "What is wrong with you?"
What happened to the nice young boy I married?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, you have a great character, that series character, Arlo Baines.
Yeah.
Tell us about Arlo, because Arlo is a trip. I love this character.
Arlo is a great character. I wanted to do something. I wanted to write a story about someone who had lost everything, and Arlo has lost everything. He has lost his family and his place, his job, his standing in society, and he is at complete loose ends. His family was murdered. And he ends up in a little nowhere town in West Texas and meets a woman and her two children that remind him of his wife and children, his dead wife and children. And the woman gets killed and the children disappear, and he realizes that no one's looking for the kids, and if he doesn't find the kids, no one will find them. Now the problem is that he's accused of murdering the woman, so he has to clear his name and then find the kids, and kind of come to terms with what he did that resulted in his family's death, and that unfolds over the course of the book.
Oh wow, sounds just a little intense.
Yeah.
And a lot of plot lines to keep going. Yes.
Yeah. So what's your process when you write? Are you a pantser? Do you outline?
So I've done it both ways. It's much better for myself, my mental health, and the people around me if I have a good outline. I've learned that the hard way that works for that's just everybody's happier if I have an outline. So I spend a lot of time outlining. I mean, I don't know how long weeks thinking about what the story is and really kind of pondering the characters and coming up with a fairly extensive outline. I mean, it's not every single thing that happens in the book. There's a lot of room for change as you go. People always the knock against outliners is, well, I want to be surprised by what happens by the story. And I go, yeah, okay, that's great, but I promise you, even with an outline, there's plenty of opportunities to be surprised, without a doubt. So, and it's such a good feeling to know every morning when you wake up to write, you know what you're going to work on. You not have to ponder,
Mhm.
like what happens next. So you've got an idea.
I know I outline as well, and mine are 100 pages to 120 pages. Are yours that extensive?
No, that is some serious outline. That's like Jeff
The
Deaver
first
outline.
draft. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is like a first draft. The mine are probably 10 to 15 pages, single spaced.
Gotcha. So you have a pretty good direction. You get up in the morning and you know what direction you're going. But
Yes.
I know with mine, I'm always very flexible because things do change. And you might think you know a character in the beginning, but until you see them over the months as you write,
Right.
excuse me, you don't really know how they would react later on down the road.
They're always different once they get on the page. They're always
Yes.
something's a little
Yep.
bit different.
Yes. Yes. So what are you working on now?
I am working on another book, just another crime thriller. I've, I don't know where I am, halfway through, maybe. I've got a full outline. I'm just trying to muddle through. There's some, it was a full outline, but things are changing, as you guys know how that goes. So I've got a book coming out in October.
Oh,
So
great.
yeah. Oh, look at that. There it is.
That's a beautiful cover.
That's a phenomenal cover. They did such a good job of
Oh,
that.
love it.
Yes.
Wow. Who's your publisher on this one?
Ocean View.
Oh,
Yep.
what a beautiful, beautiful cover. I love Ocean View. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I got an advanced copy of this and read it. It is fantastic. I really, really, really like this book.
Thank you. Thank you. I had a good time with it. I think it turned out pretty well. I think they all do, and then then later on I go, wow, what was I thinking? But no, I think this one did. I think this one did turn out well.
And this is coming in August, you said?
It comes out in October.
October. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
very, very cool.
Yeah, I do love the cover, but it's really a convoluted and fun story, and enough darkness to make it really fun.
Good. You like darkness.
Can you give us a little snippet about what you're writing right now, or do you not talk about what you're currently working on?
I typically don't. I mean, it's liable to change. It's liable to change.
Yeah, no, I know how that goes for sure. And with the writing as far as screenplays and all that, are you going to do more of that kind of work, or?
Yeah, I am. I've got a couple ideas. It's I enjoy it. You guys know what it's like. You always have to figure out the biggest thing on screenplay or on writing a novel is, Lord, speech attributions. Like he said, she said, he whispered, she whispered, he did an action.
The tags and
Speech tags. And with a screenplay, there are none of those. It's just like, oh wow, this is kind of freeing. You just the name, and then below that you have the dialogue. There's a lot of other differences, but that's one of the things that pops in my mind.
Well, one of the things I think is most difficult about it is, I mean, most feature films are about 120 pages of screenplay with everything, lighting, direction. And I think it's very difficult to tell an entire story in such a short span of pages. I mean, we're novelists, right?
It makes you so economical with your words. It really does. And that's a good quality to translate over to the novel writing. Just get the right word, the right phrase, which I know we're all doing that anyway, but it kind of hones that skill down a little bit to a different level for me.
Well, essentially, we recently interviewed our friend Lee Goldberg, and he says when he comes up with a new idea, he writes the screenplay and then from that writes the novel. So the screenplay basically works as his outline.
Right.
And he says because he gets to know the characters, gets to know the dialogue, gets to know the story, and then he can start putting words on the page.
That's a smart way to do it. I've never done that, but that is a smart way to do it.
Yeah.
And then he's got, if somebody wants film rights, he goes, well, look here, I've got a screenplay done. I'm ready.
Well, he came from the TV world, so for him, writing a screenplay is something he can do in a few days, and because he's used to doing it, being under the gun. So I think, I wish I could do that because it makes sense.
It does make sense.
It makes sense. Yeah.
But it is a completely different art form. I mean, it's really, completely. So it's kind of funny because when we were starting Outliers, we were looking at different writing classes out there on the internet. And I've seen places where there's essayists, I can't say the word today, teaching how to write a novel. And again, I see that as such a different, I know, art form that I'm at a loss as to how that translates. But again, people think writing is writing, and it's not. There's so many different art forms, like songwriting, completely different art form.
Completely different writing.
Yeah.
They
Well,
some of those people, some of those great
oh,
songwriters.
absolutely. We interviewed, it's actually posted, Dee Snider, of Twisted
Did you
Sister.
really?
And it was fantastic. Go on our YouTube channel and watch it. He was smart, witty, together, has written screenplays, has written a book, had a great story to tell, and he was just a delight. So, yeah, it's worth watching.
Snyder, is he going to be a teacher at Outliers?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I wish he would, but I don't know if we could corral him. I mean, he talked for an hour. We just couldn't. He was so fascinating, so fascinating. Yeah,
Well,
good guy.
we're doing multi-genre and fiction, nonfiction, but it'd be cool if we could get him to teach songwriting.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we should ask him. That would be pretty amazing for sure.
Well, so our listeners know Harry's an outlier, and he's going to be teaching, I think, next February, a little class on the mystical quest of finding an agent, which every writer is, trying to find that agent editor that can push them down the road to legitimate publishing. Well, the legitimate's probably not the right word. Traditional publishing, because I think all publishing is legitimate.
Right.
And we're looking forward to that. That'll be fun.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh, we're excited to have you. And if you decide you want to do a bonus class or anything like that, let us know, because I know I've heard wonderful things about your teaching. So very excited.
Really? Who in the world said that? I need to go.
I did, but I'm a fiction writer, so
okay. Okay. Right.
You know how it is.
We lie for a living.
Yeah, exactly. So, where can people find you and find your books? And for goodness sakes, get ready for The Life and Death of Rose, because it's going to be fantastic.
Thank you. I'm everywhere. My harryhunsicker.com, HarryHunsicker.com. And then I'm on X, Instagram, and Threads with that, my name, all one word, Harry Hunsicker.
Cool.
Well, we need to get you back on too. You're a great interview. I really want to thank you for coming on, Harry. Excited to have you as an outlier. And for our listeners, I want to say that's for Outliers Writing University.com, and Harry will be teaching, as well as many other authors like Jeff Deaver and Meg Gardner's coming on board. We've got Allison Brennan, and on and on and on the list goes. So it's a great place to learn how to write books, fiction and nonfiction. And I want to also ask our viewers to please click the thumbs up button. It helps with the algorithm, and subscribe so we can bring you more of these fantastic interviews. And again, you're such a great interview, Harry. We've got to have you back on.
Thank you.
When we get closer, maybe to your book coming out. Let's do it again.
I'd love to. I'd love to be back on. It's great.
Great.
Thanks, Harry. And I'm assuming I'm still going to see you in Nashville in August.
I'll be there. Yeah.
Valshicon, it'll be a kick. Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, that's been our Get to Know show for the day with Harry, and we're looking forward to you coming back to our YouTube channel and seeing more interviews. And until then, have a good day.
We're out. Thank you.